My name is Lacie of spookylipsandfathips, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and welcome back to my makeup collection. I am back in another huge long sleeve shirt with more press-on nails, and today we are tackling my blush drawer. I'm doing blush as opposed to highlighters part 2, because the highlighter drawer you guys just saw was up here, and right underneath it is blush, and I'm just going to go in this order, because why not? It's my channel. I make the rules, and also this was just logistically easier for me to film. If you haven't already seen the first video in my makeup collection series, I've already swatched a lot of my highlighters for you guys. But I have decided, after much resistance over the last couple years, to show my entire makeup collection on YouTube. Side note, I always have my I live in a city disclaimer in my description box. But tonight I do have a window open because it's pretty warm. So you might extra hear like cars and people and shit. I have no control over that, sorry. It's either that or melt under these studio lights. But yeah, quick disclaimer. I know some of you guys hate the disclaimer. Whatever, I'm still doing it. I have a lot of makeup. I'm aware that I have a lot of makeup. I've bought pretty much every piece of makeup I own myself. I have very few things that I've ever gotten in PR because of this channel. I love my makeup collection. I've spent a lot of years building it and curating it and kind of having it be as perfect as I wanted it to be, and the collection you guys see now took a lot of time and years, and just allocating my own money towards it, and I choose to allocate my money towards makeup because it's one of my favorite things in the world. It's one of my favorite hobbies. I do YouTube. It's a creative outlet for me. It just makes me feel happy and confident. I like the size of my collection, but if you think that watching a ridiculously large makeup collection video is going to trigger you to want to shop, or make you feel bad about the size of your collection, or just impact you negatively in any way, shape, or form, please don't watch it. But for those of you who have liked this series so far, which I'm going to be honest, I'm very blown away by the positive response to this type of series. I know that my video, I think, was posted on Reddit. I don't tend to go searching for it, but just like YouTube straight up tells me on my analytics that people were clicking on it from Reddit. So I got a lot of new subscribers. I got a lot of positive feedback. People have been very kind to me. So if you're new here, hi. Hello. Thanks for, sticking around and liking me, I guess, and liking the makeup. I know to get through these, dark times, I've been watching a lot of collection videos. I've been watching a lot of swatch videos. That's what has been just a nice escape for me. And I wanted to create content like that for you guys. So, yapping all aside, we're in my blush drawer today. Blush is a little ridiculous. My blush drawer is ridiculous. It kind of reads like a Tetris board because I just have things stacked every which way just so they'll fit, because blushes don't really come in uniform sizing. Blush is something that I really go gaga for, more so now than I might have in the past. I've been on a quote-unquote blush journey this year, and really, I love having this much variety and options for blush, because I've really just become such a slut for blush in the last year. I think when I first got into makeup, my top things that I really loved were eyeshadow, lipstick, and highlighter. Now it's very much blush, highlighter, eyeshadow. So I'm also very torn on if I should swatch in this video, because I feel like blush doesn't always swatch well. So we'll see how it goes. Let's just start from the beginning. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but shoved against this wall, I have some Flower Beauty blushes. That's also the thing with my blush collection. I feel like I have a very diverse range of drugstore to high end, and because I'm not picky when it comes to blush. I like a lot of blush, but I do have 4 of the Flower Beauty, I think there is only 4 of the Flower Beauty Flower Pots powder blushes. These are really nice. They're all matte except for this one, and I think they're in really pretty unique shades. And I gotta tell you, just in general with blush, because I've done it to 2 of these colors, whenever I declutter, I always okay, I'm gonna be strong, I'm gonna part with these things. And then I put them aside, I put them in my declutter box, and then I dig them back out, because within 24 hours I miss them. So they passed the bring me joy test. But anyway, this one, this is such a pretty color. Can you stand it? This is Peach Primrose. They're just so soft and nice. It's such a pretty peachy color. And then this one also is like such a good staple color for me. This is Sweet Pea. It's kind of like a nude. It's a really good nude shade. Well, this is a very good peach shade. Again, mattes. I like to have options for matte blushes, though my preference is with radiant blushes. This one is Wild Rose. This one is like a bubblegum pink, which only up until recently I was like, why do I have this? I have no use for this. But then I saw like a look on Instagram with hot bubblegum pink blush like this, and I was like, oh, that's why I need that blush. I've been preparing for this moment my whole life. And then this last one, this is one that I go backwards and forwards with keeping, because I have other blushes that do this, but I like this is the shade Warm Hibiscus. This is like a red with a gold flip. Very much reminds me of like NARS Orgasm. I feel like a lot of blushes do this. This was like a very trendy kind of blush look for a while. And that's why I go back and forward with keeping this, because I kept like decluttering, being like, I have other blushes that do this, but then I was like getting rid of the other blushes that do this. I really just can't get over the designs. Imprint in the flower like imprint. Stop it. It's so nice. I also like just how these feel for drugstore blushes. They have like a pretty nice weight to them, even though they're just like acrylic pans. I don't know. Does that mean anything to you? I think it means something to me. And then kind of right next to them, you can see like right here in this top corner, these are my classic Too Faced Love Flush blushes. I had to have all of these because I saw Track Makins had all of these like back in the day, and I was obsessed with her makeup collection and her aesthetic, and I just love how these feel. They're like Polly Pocket makeup. I'm like sensually touching it, and I have all of them because that's a common theme you're going to see in my blush collection. Is if I like a formula, I get all of them. This is the shade How Deep Is Your Love, and actually on these I've done a lot of damage. I've pretty much lost most of the embossing on all of these blushes, because for a while these were like my only high-end blushes, and I just used them to death. They're still so nice in my opinion. How Deep Is Your Love? It's like a reddish kind of pink, like a hibiscus almost. Love Hangover is like a nudie pink. This was like a go-to for me for a while. Like just a good nude color. Actually looks way more pink in a swatch, but I feel like on the cheeks it just reads more natural. Another kind of peachy shade. I Will Always Love You. These names, I can't even. This reminds me of like a Wet n Wild blush that we'll get to in a second. Love like an orangey tangerine-y blush. These are like mostly matte, I would say. They have like a little bit of a satinness to it, but they're not glowy by any means. This is a super nude blush. This one is Baby Love. This one is nude, for sure. I call the other one nude, but this is more of like a nude shade. Then we get into our like cool tone colors. Justify My Love. This is also kind of like a bubblegum pink, like baby pink almost, but it reads more cool tone than the Flower Beauty blush in my opinion. And then Your Love Is King. This is a deep shade. This has the most embossing still left on it, because I've only gotten into like blush draping and deep blush shades very recently. This kind of has like a purpleness to it. It's so pretty. It's like a wine on the cheeks, like a wine stained cheek. That is a look. Oh my gosh. Do they even still sell these? That I don't even know. I've had them for a while, but I feel like Too Faced gets rid of all of the things it does good. See, this is my problem. This is why I don't know if swatching everything is going to be the way to go, because I am like stained now from swatching that. God damn it. Okay, I moved the camera angle a little bit because I felt like you couldn't quite see where I was going. Right up here. Okay, so before we get to the Juvia's Place blushes, right after my Too Faced blushes, this is brand new for me. This is the Natasha Denona Bloom highlighting blush. Like I said, this is probably one that I can consider part of this year's blush journey. This is like an orangey pink with a gold flip. How I talked about earlier, how a lot of blushes kind of do that gold reflect thing. This is her mini of the Bloom blush palette that I wanted so badly but figured was just a touch too deep for my skin tone, so this was a good compromise. This looks stunning on the cheeks, and it is pigmented, and it reminds me of that thing Teresa always says where she talks about Campbell Soup Kid cheeks, where it's like really red, like childlike cheeks. I feel like that does this for me, but it's such a pretty color. And then my two Juvia's Place blushes. I actually have the blush palettes as well from Juvia's Place, but they're in my basket of face palettes that I kind of referenced in my highlighter video. I only have a couple blush palettes, but they're in that basket. But this one, this is the lighter one, Serafina. Oh my god, this is such a good color. How would you describe this? This is like a peach with a good amount of orange in it. Kind of like the Natasha Denona one with no like gold reflect. It's just the color. Again, not totally matte. It has like a kiss of like satin in it, like a kiss of glow. And then the deeper shade Bella. This is like a brick color. And I love how unique both of these colors are. So pretty. They're also really pretty when you mix them together. Or if you drape, like contour almost with this deep one and layer this light one over it. Blend it out with this one. That's such a good combo. I really like these compacts too. I like cardboard. I like the sleek cardboard, and I like this really beautiful design on it. That's just me. I am a sucker for all different types of packaging. And then this one here, this is recent to my collection. This actually Hannah's Smoky Glow Hannah passed down to me. This is a Kathleen Likes and ColourPop collab. It's called So Retrograde. I have no idea in what collab this came out with because Kathleen Likes has collabed with ColourPop like 1,000 times. But this is one that was passed along to me because oh my god, can you even stand it? This is a true orange. And I don't know about you, but I don't see orange blushes on the market this often. Maybe now that blush is becoming really popular. Can you even stand this? I'm fucking obsessed. This is not maybe something I would wear to work. The work, really, every day I swear like I push the envelope with what kind of makeup I wear to work, and nobody has stopped me yet. So maybe I will wear this to work, who knows? But for like a YouTube video, for going out for the weekend, for going to the mall, remember when we could go to the mall? Matt and I used to go to Barnes & Noble's like every weekend. But anyway, maybe this would be like that. Like, oh, I could finally leave the house and express myself in my truest fashion. It's so pretty. And it also has a gold reflect to it. But because it's orange, it doesn't come off as contrasting as the other blushes. It just looks like a shiny orange metallic blush. I love it so much. When Hannah was like, do you want this? I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Of course I do. And then more Too Faced. I have a surprising amount of Too Faced blushes for someone who doesn't really seem to like Too Faced anymore. But this was like pre-canceling Too Faced. I mean, you do it what you want. I feel like when Too Faced does the cutesy marketing right, they do it really well, and they do really kind of like snap when it comes to cheek products. When they're not doing like one color fits all bronzer, because what the fuck is that about? But anyway, the Tutti Frutti blushes. Oh my god, if you've been on my channel, I don't know why I just like said it that way, but these blushes, if you've been on my channel for a hot second, you know that like I was obsessed with these when they came out. I'm still obsessed with these. This is such a good formula. I will say, I get why people don't like it, because the criticisms with these blushes were that the metallic side has chunky glitter in it, but obviously it's like a cute blush duo. One side is more like a satiny shade, the other side's more metallic. They kind of vary in color difference throughout the shades. This is Like My Melons, ? Oh my god. I'm such a sucker for a split pan blush, because you could layer them, you could drape them, you get two blushes in one. That was a terrible swatch. They like so vaguely smell like the fruits that are on the cover. I think they probably had much stronger scents when I first got them. But then maybe just having them for a while, they lost it. But it's still there. This smells like watermelon gum. Like watermelon Hubba Bubba. But if you mix these together, it would do probably exactly what that Natasha Denona blush does. But it's so pretty. Can you stand it? I have all of them because I'm a monster. I didn't get them all at once. I kind of just slowly collected them all, which is pretty much what I did. When you see clusters of like blushes, normally I start out with a couple and then just like acquire them all if I've decided that I like them. This was an instance of that. This is the shade Pomegranate. This is one that I've done some damage on, even though it probably doesn't look like it. I've never panned a blush ever, I don't think, since I was like a teenager. This is one, I don't know if you can see, this one has real chunky glitter in it, and I get why that pisses people off. Let's see. I haven't planned this at all. This one is way more cool tone. I love these shades. So this reads very like, whenever I see like purpley pinky kind of blushes like this, it makes me think of the 80s and like the blush draping near the eyes. Am I off on that? You let me know. Another one of the newer shades, Papaya Pop. This one, very similar to the watermelon one. They all kind of, the three newest ones that came out all are very similar. I don't think you need all of the newest ones that just came out. These mixed together make like an orange, which is fantastic for when we predated actual orange blushes being on the market. Cherry Balm. The packaging, man. But this one, I've also put a dent in this one because I really like this deeper reddish tone. A lot of goldy shades paired with these. You see what I was talking about with the whole like blush with the gold flip being kind of like a popular thing to do? This one's more like an apricot-y kind of glow. But I love a deep brick shade like this. Strobe Berry. Again with the cute packaging. This one I know I've done damage into. This has like a super light pink side. Oh, this is such a pretty shade. I love the range of shades in this line too. That one, I think Too Faced did a good job making like a good variety of shades. This is more cool tone with this really light pink side. I like the contrast of these shades a lot. I know I said it before, but if my hands look rough, it's because I have to wash them 1,000 times a day because of my job. And if I sound exhausted, both emotionally or physically exhausted, it's because I am. But anyway, Apricot in the Act, a kind of nudie shade, again with a gold. I actually don't think I realized until I did this video that they all basically have a gold with them. I love like a nudie apricot-y shade. Oh, I love a bright, vivid blush, but I also love a nudie blush. And then this was my favorite of the newest shades that came out. Berries and Bubbly. This kind of smells like a doll. What doll did I have that smelled like this? Not to pull like a Raw Beauty Christie, but this has a very distinct scent that I swear a doll that I had growing up had this scent. I don't know, but anyway. Another kind of nudie color, but like light pink. This is like the lightest one that they make. This as a highlighter. Get out of here. It's so nice. See, now I have like chunky glitter left on my hand that I can't get off with the makeup eraser. Oh, we're powering through. Right next to those, another Too Faced blush. The only blush that I'm even remotely close to panning in my collection. The Too Faced Papa Don't Peach blush. If you can see, I'm so close to hitting pan on this blush because this is my go-to blush shade when I don't know what else to pair with a look. This is a glowy peach. It's exactly as the name suggests. It's a little nudie. It's such a good, classic, perfect shade. I've pretty much lost most of the gross peach ring scent unless you like dig your face into it. But once upon a time, if you open this, that smell would just like radiate everywhere. But now it's just like, oh. And this is one where if I panned it and like went through it, I would buy it again. Like no questions asked, even with the amount of blush that I own. Because it's such a good shade for me. This is a weird one next to it. This was a Wet n Wild like Halloween blush. It says Color Icon Shade Shifting Blush limited edition in Zombie Blush. This is green. This is a green metallic. And it's supposed to shift to red on the cheeks. But what it really is a green, like a green blue or a blue brown. Like, what's the MAC pigment blue brown? Like, that's actually what it is. So when you swatch it, you're like, green, and then you're supposed to like be able to blend it out and get the red. You really gotta work for it to get the red. It's really kind of like a novelty, but I don't mind it. It's fun. I have worn it on the cheeks a couple times, and you never quite lose the green, which is fine if you're like a weirdo like I am, but if you're just a normal human trying to wear normal human blushes, I don't know, it was probably only like $4. I can't imagine I paid more than $4 or $5 for it, but I like having it. It's definitely something unique. And then right next to those, these are relatively new, and if you would have watched my like 2-hour birthday haul, wish list haul that I posted, which was a live, I showed you guys these. These are my new Buxom Wonderlust primer infused blushes. And I got, like, all of them. I actually used most of my Ulta points that I had hoarded throughout the month of March to get these. And I think I only paid, like, $26 for all of them, using all of my points. It was a magical experience. But anyway, this is the shade Goa. This formula is amazing. It really kind of... In a swatch, I feel like you don't quite get what's so special about it. This is, like, a deep kind of reddish, like I was talking about earlier, how I like shades like that. On a swatch, you don't quite get it. On a swatch, it very much looks like what all blushes look like in a swatch. But when you apply these on the cheeks... Sorry, there was a motorcycle brigade that just went by. But anyway, when you apply this on the cheeks, it looks like a cream or a stain. This is the shade Havana. And I've never seen a blush do that before, where they kind of transform from this powder-like state into looking like that's just the color that your face makes. Havana is more of like a true pink. I'm obsessed with these. I'm so glad I rage bought all of them. Like a monster. I kept hearing everyone talk positively about them and I couldn't decide a color. And I had so many Ulta points, so I just got them. Seychelles. This is like the most metallic out of all of them. This is kind of like a brown shade. A brown nude shade. This is a really good one to layer over the other ones, to get them to be more metallic or to kind of like neutral them out a little bit. This is the shade Ibiza. Another pinky color. Sorry, I have to like go in to get a pigmented swatch for this video. Another pink. Slightly deeper, like a little bit cooler toned. Oh, it's so nice though. This one is my personal favorite. This is Mykonos. This is a peachy shade. I really love peach blush. If you couldn't tell, someone is doing fireworks. It is what it is. We're gonna keep going. Oof. And then the shade Dolly. I feel like Dolly is like a classic Buxom shade. They have the Dolly lip gloss, and I feel like a lot of people like. Oh, it's like another kind of deep, kind of nude, rosy color. So pretty. I'm so glad I own those. I'm so glad I own those. They're so lovely. This is my Wet n Wild section. Besides this one Wet n Wild blush over here, these up here are my like classic drugstore Wet n Wild blushes, the Color Icon blushes. These are so good for the price point and for the drugstore. I always have these, I feel like, for the entirety of my makeup journey, and I just have pretty much all of the shades, I believe. This one is my favorite. This one's relatively new. Keep It Peachy. Again, I guess you can see a theme for what I like, but it's just like a slightly nude peach. This one's matte. They kind of vary in their finishes. Very kick-uppy. Oh my gosh. They just blend out so sheer and so pretty. I think that's probably a very workable formula for a lot of people because it's not so intimidating. When you first apply it, I have like blush fragments everywhere. Apricot in the middle. Okay, maybe I lied. Maybe this is my favorite shade. This has a little bit of a glow to it. This one I'm also actually, if you can tell, very close to hitting pan on. This is very similar, I feel like, to Papa Don't Peach, which maybe says a lot about me. But it's like also a kind of nudie peach, apricot, whatever you want to call it. so nice and light and shears out so nicely, like I said. So maybe not as intimidating as other blushes. Pearlescent Pink. Oh, I love this shade too. This has like really fine gold micro glitters in it, but I don't feel like it reads like chunky glitter on the face. I hope these swatches are coming across on camera. They're pretty sheer compared to other things that I've swatched today. Fantastic Plastic Pink. I like the Barbie reference. This has silver micro glitters running throughout it. I don't feel like that kind of translates on your cheeks with the brush. On a swatch though, when I just dampened it with a makeup eraser, you definitely get the glitters. But it really is like a Barbie pink. Rosé Champagne. A really pretty nude with like a metallic glow to it. F these little brushes. Who uses them? It has a little bit of like a satiny glow to it. It's not super metallic. Oh, this for like a really everyday, looks like your face is doing this blush. That's a good color for a pale skin tone. And then these two are kind of on the deeper side, but I like a deeper blush on occasion. Mellow Wine. Also matte with no shimmer or sparkle, like the peach one. Super pretty. And then this one, this is another one where it's like, I went back and forth on decluttering it, eventually decluttered it, and then immediately pulled it back out because my taste in blush fluctuates. Sometimes I want a matte blush, sometimes I want a metallic blush, a deep blush, a nude blush. Sometimes it just depends on my eye look. Sometimes, especially now, I'm getting very experimental with what I do with my eyes, and I'm no longer just doing colorful smoky eyes winged liner every day. I know, shocking. But I'm getting very experimental with what I do with my eyes, which will change up what I want to do on the cheeks. So again, maybe some reason for variety, but Blazing Berry is the most metallic, I think, of all of the Wet n Wild blushes I've swatched. And it's a deep shade, but it's so nice for blush draping. Oh my god, on the tops of the cheekbones. I got some older Wet n Wilds up top too, if you can see them up here. These three. These were part of like a limited edition spring collection, and I did not appreciate them in their time, but I am so glad that I hung on to them this whole time because this is so perfect for what I'm into now. These are the baked blushes that they did, like I said, for a various spring collection that came out a couple years ago. At this point, this one is Don't Flutter Yourself. And if you can see, it's like a metallic eyeshadow in a pan. A baked blush. Oh my god, I love baked blush. This is so metallic. And when I first got these, that was so intimidating to me. But now, I'm like, bring it on. Give me the glossy, dewy, shiny cheeks. That is so what I'm here for. This one, Dare to Soar, with its beautiful hummingbird on the package. This one is like a deep pink, whereas the other one was like a light pink. Oh my god. These two mixed together. Stop it. And then this last one, Hummingbird Hype. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. This is like a brownie nude shade. These three shades alone, so good for a glossy cheek. You could layer them over any other blush that I've shown you so far to amp up the glowiness. Oh, so ahead of its time. I feel like if Wet n Wild were to come out with this formula again now, it would do so well. And then to finish up this little row, up top, this is some more like old Wet n Wild. Don't come for me if you know how old these are. I cannot bear to part with these, and I love these so much. These are the Color Icon Ombre blushes that came out, again, like I said, a while ago. This is the Princess Daiquiris. I've actually probably gotten close to painting these as well. If you can see, it kind of has a gradient from dark to light color. I always just mix it all together. And they were nice and glowy. But for me, as like a pale human, I don't even know if you could read this color in a swatch. This looks like nothing. But for me, being as pale as I am, it just adds a nice little like kiss of color to the cheeks. A nice little flush. Looks very natural. Oh, this one, what's this shade? Mai Tai, Buy You a Drink. This was like apricot in the middle before apricot in the middle, in my opinion. So sheer. But that's what makes it so good, especially if you're a ghost like I am, because it's very hard for me to find blushes that don't read as blush for my skin tone. I have a Juvia one that we'll get to in a second that I bought for that reason, because it so barely registers as my cheeks having color. But I like that for certain occasions. And then this one in a purple haze, I feel like might have been ahead of its time. But it gradients like a deeper purple to a lighter kind of pinky purple on the top. Oh, they just look so like, almost like ashy, but kind of in a good way. I don't know if that's crazy talk. They're so pretty. I went wild. Bring those back. Let's see. Let's go this way. So up in this corner, if you can see right up here, these are like 4 blushes that I swear I'm never getting rid of ever. I'm just not. These are my collection of blushes from the Balm. And there's just something I love so much about these shades, about this formula, about this packaging. And I've had these for quite a while, and I just absolutely refuse to get rid of them. This one I think is my favorite. This is Cabana Boy. And look at this packaging. Again, the sleek kind of cardboard, but the Balm with its cutesy aesthetic. I love it so much. Cabana Boy is like a deeper kind of wine pink. Like not quite pink, not quite like a true wine. Oh, this is such a pretty... This one's my favorite. Hands down. I don't know why. It just does something awesome to the cheeks. They're just so barely satin. I love them. Down Boy. Look at the packaging. Can you stand it? Hot pink. Oh, I'm like gonna go in on it. Super light. They blend out so smooth. Even for as old as they are, they're still so nice. I absolutely refuse to get rid of these. Frat Boy. Oh, this one's actually a really good color too. This is like a classic pink shade in my opinion. I've actually probably done a huge amount of damage to this one too. Such a good range of pinks. This like covers me for pink blushes. Can you stand it? And then this I feel like is just a classic. A YouTube classic. A beauty community classic. Hot Mama. It is a NARS Orgasm kind of shade, where it's a pink with a gold. Oh, this is the one where whenever I think about getting rid of that flower blush, it's because I have this one. And I've used and abused this blush. Again, it might not look like it, but I've had these Balm blushes for quite some time. They were like my only high-end blushes for a hot second. They have like a stain blush, like a powder stain blush that I want to try so badly, but I've just never had the opportunity to. If you've tried them and they're worth trying, please let me know. I love everything about the Balm. I don't buy from them often, but I really cherish the things from the Balm that I have. They just hit like a weird nostalgic place in my heart. But right behind them, my NYX Sweet Cheeks blushes. I have 2 of the Sweet Cheeks glows. They came out with matte blushes and glow ones like these. And I just have 2 of the shades because I could probably easily dupe every other shade that came out in that collection. But this is the shade Silence is Golden, which is a yellow, and I just fucking love yellow blush. I've done looks with yellow blush on this channel. I'm so here for the yellow blush trend. I think to me it kind of makes sense since humans have yellow tones to their skin. It's just something so fun and different. And then I also have So Taupe. This was a recommendation from somebody in the Half Cousins Discord server. I once upon a time had NYX Taupe for a contour shade, but this is a glowy taupe blush, and this is so just weird and like gothy and editorial, and I think this is so cool. If this is your only cheek product, like no brush, no bronzer, no contour, nothing, just this kind of blended out in like a gradient or really packed on at the high points of the cheeks, that is editorial as fuck. That is cool as fuck. I'm so here for it. These maybe aren't colors that I would wear like to work, but you know what? Who knows? These Makeup Revolution matte blushes, these are old. These were like some of my first favorite blushes in my collection, right when I stopped just using one CoverGirl blush until I panned it and buy another one and moving on, which is what I did all throughout high school because that's what my mom did. These were some of my first, like, my own makeup collection blushes that I remember really loving and going gaga for, and I think they're so good. I believe they do still sell these. I think they're just in nicer packaging now. They might have different names. This is the shade Beloved. This is such a beautiful pinky peach. They are really hiccuppy. But they're just, oh, that is such a good shade. Nude. This was my go-to nude blush for a while, as the name suggests. Has a good amount of brown to it. It's just so pretty as I make a mess. Oh man, this one reminds me of like the Juvia's Place blushes if they were like mixed together, the shade Fusion. It's such a pretty like brick tone, but like a light brick tone. Oh man. It's so good! And then again, my Barbie pink shade that I had no use for until recently, Divine. It's so light and so pink. Ugh. This in itself would be like the perfect range for someone who just needed a couple to round out their collection. I really like them. I don't have a lot of matte blushes because I tend to like blushes with glow, but these stand up over the test of time. Like, these are so nice. Now these are my newer matte blushes, and this is kind of controversial. Maybe not. The Kendo Vegan, Doing Good Vegan, Discovery Vegan, Vegan, KVD blushes. What are they called? The Everlasting Blushes. I started out with 2, as I talked about in my haul video, and then slowly acquired like 4 more. Because this is such a nice product. And I never would have even gone near these blushes in a Sephora to look at, to swatch, nothing. Until Miss Kat Von D herself was politely pushed out of her own brand for probably lots of money. But I was not supporting KVD until that happened. Now, of course, they're Kendo Vegan, Doing Good, Discovery, Kindness, whatever the hell, Beauty. Whatever they are, you can read about it in their manifesto, their words. But I just fell in love with these blushes. Actually, I think I want to start up here and work my way down, because this is the first one that I got, and I was so obsessed with this that I got another one and another and another. This is the shade Honeysuckle. This is the lightest one in this line. They're matte blushes, like I said. I don't have a lot of matte blushes, but I really like these. They actually feel very similar to the Makeup Revolution ones, but this is one of those just barely deeper than my skin tone shades. I don't even know if you can see it in a swatch, quite frankly. And I have so few of these because so few of these exist on the market. But for me, this looks so natural on me. I love it so much. I love all of these colors so much. This range of colors, it like skews kind of grayish cool toned. Kind of like how a lot of KVD's palettes have in the past. And I really like that. I find that very unique. I find these colors very unique to everything else in my collection. Everything else in my collection is pretty much like brownish nude with some pink in it, cool tone purples, bubblegum pinks, orangey peaches. This is so hyper unique to everything else. This is the shade Foxglove. Slightly deeper than Honeysuckle. Also like a very nudie light color though. So barely registers as deeper than this one, but it has more red to it. And this is the shade Rosebud. I think I own all of these but one shade. I don't have the super red shade. This one is like a cool toned, almost like ashy purple, which might sound unappealing to you, but it's very appealing to me. I love these. They are so nice. They wear so nice on the cheeks. Peony. Kind of cool tone. It's not vibrant though, like other cool tone pinks I have in my collection. It reads very soft on the cheeks. And then Snapdragon. This one is deep red. It looks like a sunburn on me, which I actually really like. And it very much dupes Lolita, in my opinion. And I can prove that in a second, because I have the Lolita Single Shadow that you also could use as a blush. I got this when I was still patronizing Kat Von D, not KVD, but Kat Von D, before, you know, everything went down. So, like, props to this packaging. It is really cool packaging. But I've had this for so long that I refuse to get rid of it. But this is the Single Shadow that they said you could also use as a blush. To me, this just looks slightly more brown. Slightly, but on the cheeks they basically do the same thing. But I have both, and I don't care that I have both. Because I guess I'm a makeup collector in a sense, and I like to have some relics of the past. I told the story of these Marc Jacobs blushes in my stream. One of these, Hannah Smoky Glow, Hannah gave to me, and then I fell so in love with the formula that I bought another one. Then they all went on sale very recently, and I think they're being discontinued, which I don't understand. But I think Marc Jacobs is discontinuing a lot of the makeup line. I don't know what's up with that, or all of the makeup line. Who knows? This is the one that Hannah gave me. This is like a Beauty Guru classic. This is Lines in Last Night. I almost like don't want to swatch this because I don't want to mess up the design. This was super unique in my collection. This is like a creamsicle shade. Maybe like when I swatch it, it's going to look like everything else and you're going to be like, no, Lacie, it's not very unique to your collection, but whatever. It just kind of reads a little orange. I really like this. I like the way that it applies. I'm actually gonna be a snob real quick and like brush out what I just did so that the lines can be shown again. But anyway, this is just such a pretty color. I love the formula. I love how bougie it feels to own a little bit of Marc Jacobs makeup. And then this was the shade I bought myself because I liked the formula so much. This is Flesh and Fantasy. This shade, I believe, dupes Clinique Nude Pop. It was like the only other Marc Jacobs shade that offered anything relatively unique in my collection because it's like a nudie color, but I don't even know if you can see it in the swatch. Again, kind of like the Kat Von D shade in Honeysuckle, it's so barely deeper than my skin tone that it looks very flattering as a blush. Again, gonna just clean it up, but I absolutely love it. I wish I could have got Kink and Kisses before they like were sold out and discontinued, but I'm happy with the two shades that I do have. my Milani collection. Maybe before we get into the Milani collection, we'll jump over here. My beloved, that was an aggressive noise that I just made. My beloved Cover FX duos. Oh my god. This is Soft Peach. This one is my favorite. This is just, if you have a light skin tone, this would be the one I recommend. It barely registers in a swatch, but it's like a nudie peach. It's probably more brown toned than a lot of other peaches in my collection. I love that you get a baked gelée kind of metallic side and then like a powdery matte side. I love draping the two colors together. I love building them as a gradient. I love everything about this formula. It just diffuses so nicely on the cheeks. I love the range in colors. This is the shade Pink Dahlia. I, again, didn't start out with all of them. I started out with 3 and then slowly but surely collected all of them. Just a really good pink shade with a hint, like, enough brown in it to make it not look ridiculous. Unlike this shade, this is Mojave Mauve. This is very cool tone, kind of Malibu Barbie pink. But I like having this. And it's slightly cool tone. It's such a good shade. I actually, besides Soft Peach, I like this 2 second to deepest shades. Warm Honey. This for blush draping, for really heavy blush looks. I'm so into this. It's so, like, glowy brown. It's like if Flesh and Fantasy was deeper. That's kind of what that does. And then Spice Cinnamon is a really strong brooky red. So nice. And I almost didn't buy this one, but then it was like on sale for half off at Ulta, and I just kind of was like, I gotta have it. This is the shade Sweet Mulberry. It is just a straight up purple. This one I have to layer with other blushes if I'm gonna go for it, I think. I tried to wear it on its own. I do like the metallic side on its own, but this matte purple shade on its own, it needs another blush to blend out with on my skin tone. But it's such a fun shade. Oh, I can't get over how glossy that looks. I'm glad that I have them all. I bought a couple of them full price, a couple of them on sale. I'm glad to have them. I think there's a shade for everyone, and I cannot recommend them enough. And you get 2 blushes in one, essentially. It's so good. And then right behind it, I just realized I've said it's so good about every blush. I am so sorry, but they are so good. That's why, I mean, it's my collection. I love my collection. What do you want from me? But right behind it, this is newer to my collection. This is the Ofra X Samantha March collaboration in Chicklet. It is a blush duo. This is my only Ofra blush, and this is such a beautiful shade. Oh my gosh. I think Samantha did such a good job picking out these 2 shades because they blend so nicely together. It's really, I think, a good kind of blush draping in trend duo to have right now in the moment. This beautiful lighter kind of pink side and this rosy, almost kind of nude tone. I can swatch what they do together. I love this. I love the variety that just these 2 shades can give you. They feel pretty unique to my collection because they kind of have a little bit of brown to them in the metallic side. Oh, I love this shade. I'm very impressed by this formula, and I'm very impressed by the color. And I'm happy to support Samantha March by owning this blush. I saw Hannah Louise post and Hannah do like a crazy blush draping look when she got the PR box for that, and I like immediately lost my mind and bought the blush. I just love the look that Hannah created so much. Oh, okay. Getting dangerous here. Back here I have my Jouer blush duos. I actually think, let me swatch these matte ones, and then I think I might be done swatching, and I hope that's okay with everybody, but I feel like my hand's getting stained. Every blush color kind of looks the same. But before actually I get to the Jouer blush duos, these are newer to my collection. These are the Melt Blush Lights. I got these most recently at the Sephora sale after lusting after them for so long. And I have 3 shades here. I actually bought 4 shades, but 2 of the shades looked almost identical. So one of them I'm going to be giving, speaking of Hannah Louise Poston, I'm going to be sending to Hannah Louise Poston because I think that she'll like it. But this is very similar, I feel like, to the Wet n Wild baked blushes that I showed earlier. They kind of do the same thing where it's a hyper metallic, like foiled, almost like eyeshadow kind of thing. But on the cheeks, that's just such a cool effect in my opinion. But it's very loud in a sense of like it's a bold statement thing to do to your face. But I like it. This is the shade Nevermore. It's like a pinky shade, super metallic. This is the shade Lynx. This is one of the shades that looked exactly identical to another shade, but this is the one I ended up keeping. This is like a brown with like a little bit of like apricot to it. And then this is the shade Fire Fury. Oof. This one is like a nice winey kind of shade. I feel like these 3 cover my bases. I love these. I've worn these to work a shit ton this week. Oh, I love what they do to the cheeks. I love this with no highlighter. It's so perfect. And I'll show you as I reach over. This is the shade, Hannah, if you're watching, this is the shade that I want to send to you. I won't swatch it. This is the shade Sundown. It's also like a brown. It looks exactly to me like Lynx. When you swatch them, they're so barely different. This one doesn't have gold to it, whereas Lynx kind of reflects gold. This one's just like metallic in its true color. And it reminded me of Hannah when I opened it, and when I kind of had the realization that it would make no sense for me to keep both of the brown shades. Hannah was the person I thought of, so Hannah, when I can get to the post office and get an envelope, I will be mailing this to you. Hannah has already told me that she would love to adopt that blush from me. And then, like I said, I think I'm going to be done swatching because I just want to finish up at this point. But this is my little collection of Jouer blush duos. I started with like 1 that everyone was recommending to me, and then Hannah gave me another, and then I bought one more, and then like I got a couple. It all happened so fast. This is the shade Adore. This is the one that I started with. This is the one that everybody in my life was like, oh my god, you have to try this. It's so perfect and pale friendly. These barely read as deeper than my skin tone. Like the one Kat Von D blush that I referenced, but it's perfect. I love that look. It's so good for when my eye look is too out of control that I need my cheek products to just look kind of minimal. So flattering. And then this is the one. Oh, this one I got recently and I showed it in my birthday haul. This is the shade Darling. Very similar. Very super fair and like barely registers as deeper than my skin tone. Has more of like a brown shade to it though. Love it. This is the shade I believe Hannah gave me. Hannah Smoky Glow Hannah. This is the Flirt Duo. It has more of like a super pink shade, but then with a super light pink shade. So again, barely deeper than my skin tone, which I'm here for. And these two are newer, and I wasn't going to get these at first, but then I caved. This is the shade Passion. And it has the crazy orangey gold in it, mixed with this deeper kind of brick shade. And at first I was like, I think this is going to be too deep for my skin tone. But then a comment on my haul was like, trust me, you'll like it. You can use a light hand. It's really pretty. So I went for it. And I got to tell you, I regret nothing. And then the shade Coquette is like the cool tone pink colors. This one's super light. I love how light the Jouer blushes go. That is so rare for me to find in blushes, and I get that it's because you're supposed to like mix the two sides together and get your perfect kind of intensity. But for me, I love having these light shades so much. They're so hard to find, I feel like, when you're as fair as I am. This is my Milani collection. In the back, I have a crap ton of Milani baked blushes because they, to me, were like the OG glowy baked blush. This is the shade Luminoso. This is the shade that everyone loses their mind about. It's like a YouTube classic. I've done a lot of damage on it. I don't know if you can tell, it's like flat. They come in like a dome shape and I've like flattened the dome. It's so pretty and so glowy, and it's such a flattering shade. That and Dulce Pink are probably my two favorites. This one is more true pink. Still though, just that glow you get with a baked blush. It's so flattering and it makes you look so healthy and radiant and like you got a lot of sleep and drank a lot of water. And I'm so here for that. And you can tell because I own so many other Milani blushes. I can't swatch them all. I can't possibly. But this is the shade Bella Bellini. It's kind of like Luminoso but way more gold. Oh, love this shade. I just stuck my finger in it. But I do love it. This one is more nudie. Berry Amore. A really pretty one. Some of them have flecks of glitter. Some of them don't. This one's really on like the brownie kind of side. Rose d'Oro. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering that name. This is like really brown with like a touch of pink to it. I really love this one too. I've actually really flattened this one too. Petal Primavera. Another really good nude shade. Sunset Passion. Kind of like a bricky color. Like a deeper version of the Petal Primavera shade that we just showed. This one is really deep on my skin tone. I can't let it go though. It's so nice. Red Vino. I have a thing for like deep brick shades. Has a really pretty gold flush to it. Oh, it's so pretty. These pans with the way that the color streaks through them. Oh, Milani. I wish they would just, like, chill out with this bulky packaging. Bella Rosa. This, I don't know why, but I think of, like, Play-Doh when I look at this. I don't know why. This doesn't have the kind of, like, shimmery waves going through it. It's just kind of like a satiny shade almost. But it's such a pretty color. It's really intense on the cheeks. This is definitely meant for deeper skin tones. But I love it so much. And then finally, Coralina. This one is really like reddish orange with those like beautiful swirls going through it and a lot of glitter. I actually do have one more of these Milani shades. So I actually think I do own them all. I have one more that is super light that I actually keep in my highlighter drawer. But you know what? Now that I think about it, I think that's kind of silly of me. So maybe I'll keep that one here. Hold on. Please hold. This is the shade that I had been kind of keeping in my highlighter drawer because it does pretty much read like a highlighter for me. But maybe I'll reunite it with the rest of the Milani ones. This is the shade Rosa Romantica. This is so light that it registers as a highlighter. But because I'm actually into those like barely blushy, barely deeper than my skin tone shades, that's why I'm thinking maybe I'll put it back. Oh, this one is such a pretty shade. This one, I know I said I was done swatching, but I had to swatch this one. Other than that, those are all of my blushes. My camera battery is dying. I'm at a new angle. If you like this video, if you like collection videos, and if you like me, please hit like and subscribe. You can also follow me on my Instagram, which is also spookylipsandfathips. That's the place where you'll see makeup pictures and what I'm buying in real time. You can follow me there, or you can follow me at my Twitter. I'm rushing. Or you can follow me at my Twitter at spookylacey. All of those things will be linked down below. You can also listen to me once a week on the Half Cousins podcast. We're coming back, I believe, on the 17th. We're coming back very shortly. Talk to me about your favorite blush formulas down below, your favorite blush colors. Are you into blush right now? Because I feel like it's a very popular trend. Talk to me about it. But other than that, that is all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys!